Good morning, Villa fans, and welcome to match reaction for last night or this morning's game against St. Louis. St. Louis 1, Aston Villa 2. Villa continuing the US tour with a win. And just wanted to jump on and talk a little bit about the game and also about Emery's sort of post-match interview and comments that he made, which were quite interesting as well. So, just wanted to sort of dive straight in. The game last night, I'll be totally honest with you, it was a 1:30 kickoff. I managed to stay awake for the first half and a little bit of the second half. But by about the 65th minute, I was dozing. I was asleep, so I didn't see the rest of it. However, I have just caught the highlights this morning for the remaining sort of half an hour of the game. So I was struggling to stay awake there. But anyway, watched the first half and got a good idea of what we were doing and what we were trying to do. And interesting lineup as well. Obviously, John McGinn coming in from the start here. Didn't get a run out against Frankfurt. We also saw, starts for people like Tristan Rowe at right back, who I thought did well, was getting up, showed a lot of energy and pace. Emi Martinez getting a start as well after not featuring against Frankfurt. Back four of Concer, Pau Torres, and Ian Martin on the left back as well, and I thought he did well too. And then Amadou Onana and sort of John McGinn playing in that sort of double pivot with a little bit of a change of formation. And Emery mentioned this. So we didn't really go with a true kind of number 9 striker. We kind of played with a false 9. And it was like, alternating between Morgan Rogers, Buendia, Marlon was popping up in that central space as well. So there was a lot of fluidity in the formation. Leon Bailey was trying to sort of, keep the width for us as well on that sort of right-hand side. So, it was a different kind of formation. Emery's mentioned that he wanted to try different formations, have different ideas. And I think we saw 3 different formations in this game, which is, again, just interesting. He's trying out things. He's trying out players as well. And again, this is what he said in his comments after the game, is that, his idea is not to obviously hang on to every single young player that they're playing at the moment. They're not going to be a part of the squad come the Premier League season, but he wants to see what they're about. Can we get maybe sort of loan move for the likes of Tristan Rowe, maybe Travis Patterson, maybe Jim Aloba? But, he basically said in this interview that they're not kind of ready to play in the first team, which I wholeheartedly agree. And obviously they're still very young and want to get sort of game experience and real match experience, maybe sort of lower down the pyramid. But moving on to the game as well, I thought Villa were kind of in control for the first 20, 25 minutes. A good start, similar to the Frankfurt game, really, where we started really well and in total control. I mean, St. Louis didn't really cross the halfway line in that first 25 minutes, and Villa were looking comfortable. I think having that false number 9 kind of messed up St. Louis' kind of tactics about who they would pick up, because all the runners were coming from deep, from angles. It wasn't, it was just one central striker and that's the person we need to pick up. It was more fluid. Marlon, as I said, was going in there. Rogers, Buendia as well. And Emery Buendia had a really, really good chance on 5 minutes. A lovely ball in from John McGinn. Literally, Buendia's timed his run really well. He's literally on like the penalty spot or just beyond it, and has a free header, which he basically put straight at the keeper, Berkey. So that should have been 1-0. So disappointing for Emery Buendia not to score that chance. Leon Bailey with his shooting wasn't great. There's a few chances that he sort of put wide, put over. He just put too much on it. Again, another performance from Leon Bailey where I was expecting a lot more, especially at this level against a struggling MLS team. I thought he would really sort of pick up the ball and shine, but seems to have lost a yard of pace. Confidence seems to be on the floor. I mean, to be honest, he looked like an MLS player. He looked like he wouldn't be out of place playing in the MLS. But he didn't really sort of do that much in this game for me anyway. I was expecting a lot more from kind of Leon Bailey. So hopefully there's more to come. We've also got another sort of game to wrap up the America trip with Nashville on Saturday. So hopefully, Bailey can maybe sort of perform there. So, but I just thought his shooting was wayward. It's like he was wearing sort of like Timberland boots or something. So, not really impressed with Leon Bailey. Daniel Marlon, obviously, was playing in that kind of free role, drifting out to the right, but drifting out to the left, but also been able to come in centrally. And there was a few occasions where, he did get the ball in good positions. There was a ball that was fed into him, I think by John McGinn, and his first touch just wasn't there, and the ball ran away from him and went to the keeper. That was quite early on in the game. And that's what we want, strikers who have good burst touches, and you've got to be able to sort of bring that ball down. But that was a bit disappointing. But Marlon did get involved and got another assist, his third assist of the tour. So John McGinn sort of wins the ball, feeds it into Marlon. Marlon's running at the defence at the edge of the box, feeds in Morgan Rogers, and Rogers, takes the ball close and just smashes it past Berkey at the near post to make it 1-0 to Villa. So good for Marlon in terms of the assists, but just wanted to see a little bit more from him. He had a good run as well late in the second half, where I think Emi Martinez did a long throw out to him on the halfway line, and he's literally in a foot race with the defender. Shows good pace, power, but then just sends that shot kind of wide. So I have my reservations of Donyell Marlon being the backup striker for us, because I don't think he's a clinical striker. I think he's someone who would be good out wide, sort of in that Leon Bailey kind of role perhaps, and maybe a player that would be good coming in and out of the team, but maybe not as that striker. I still think we're one person short in that department. I think we still need somebody to come in. And you'll see from my previous video, I've sort of highlighted 2 players that I think we should look at. So go back and have a look at that if you haven't already. So yeah, that was good. The false 9 was interesting to see. A different way of Villa playing. It gave us more numbers in the middle of midfield and allowed us to dominate that midfield area, because we had so many players that were kind of coming in short. And then we had players that were running kind of in behind a little bit as well. But I thought he was good. Emi Martinez didn't have much to do. There was a shot in the first half which kind of skidded off the turf, and it was kind of tricky, and he had to kind of get to it, and he ended up putting it over the bar for a corner. But apart from that, it wasn't very much for Emi to do. And then at half time, Unai rings the changes. He said he wanted to give sort of 45 minutes to each player. The only player that stayed on was Emery Buendia, who was taken off around the hour mark. So he got a little bit extra. I think Unai is trying to give him a chance. I think at the moment there doesn't seem to be many offers coming in for Emery Buendia. I think he is someone that we want to offload, but we almost have to put him in the shop window a little bit. So I think he gave him an extra sort of 15 minutes to see what he could do. And Buendia, he does try. I'm not saying he doesn't try, but he's like a little puppy, excited, running around the park, chasing after sticks and all that sort of stuff. But there wasn't very much quality in what he was doing in the final third end product. And as I said, he missed that big chance early on in the game. I don't know whether that affected his confidence, but I think very much show. So he's in the shop window. And I think that's probably why Emery wanted to give him a little bit more of a chance. I don't see him hanging around with us at the start of the season. I think we're going to move him on. And I think that's, Emery's Aston Villa time is coming to an end. But second half, and I've been highly critical of this player, Matty Cash, saying that we need to definitely upgrade. I still stand by that. I think we still do need to upgrade on that right-hand side of defence, but I've got to give him credit for an absolutely wonderful cross. I've not seen that before for Matty Cash. Where has this Matty Cash been? If you can produce crosses like that on a regular basis, plumb onto the head of Ollie Watkins, who produces a great header to make it 2-0 to Aston Villa after 55 minutes. But Matty Cash, what a cross. If you can keep doing that, lad, then, I'll stay quiet. But at the moment, I still think we need to upgrade there. I think it's a position that we need a better player in. But Matty Cash, well done. Great assist, great cross in the box there. And then soon after, we let St. Louis, we were overplaying it in the defensive sort of third, trying to play out. Bogard plays it into Kamara. Kamara is maybe not aware of being closed down, loses the ball on the edge of the box, and then their striker manages to put a low shot past Bizot to make it 2-1. Disappointing, to let them back in the game, and in that way as well. But I suppose it's best to get these errors and this rustiness out of us in pre-season, and that's exactly what it's for, rather than sort of taking that into a kind of game situation. So Kamara, losing possession was disappointing there. And for me, Emery Buendia was a little bit of a disappointment in the game. We tried the youngsters as well. We had Tristan Rose started it. Patterson got involved. I think Samuel Illing Jr. hit the post late on. There was other players that were coming onto the pitch and doing well. But as Unai Emery said in this post-match interview, he's very much looking just to try out formations. It's not about results. It's not about, it's just more about just trying things out. And that's what preseason is for this. And this tour is exactly used for that. So the likes of, say, Jimaloba, Tristan Rowe, Travis Patterson, and the likes, maybe Samuel Illing Jr. you can throw into that. I think they're going to get loan moves. I don't think Emery sees them as sort of long-term first-team players at the moment. But they also have a lot of time ahead of them. So, but anyway, guys, I just wanted to jump on for sort of 10 minutes and give my thoughts on the game yesterday. We march on now to Nashville to wrap up the US tour on Saturday. That's more of a reasonable kickoff time. I think it's 10 o'clock. So I will be staying awake for that one. And then we move on to Roma, Marseille, and Villarreal to wrap up the preseason for us. And that's going to really intensify our preseason. Those last sort of 3 games, Roma, Marseille, and Villarreal. I think by those sort of games, we should be hopefully a bit more sharper, have an idea about formations. Hopefully by then we've had a few incomings as well, and we can try to bed them in to the team and into the environment. But yeah, I'll leave it there, guys. Really, really good performance, I would say, dominating in that first half. And let's take it on to Nashville on Saturday and go from there. Please do please do subscribe. There's a lot of people that are watching this content, not subscribing. I'm getting a lot of good viewership figures now. So if you made it this far in the video, help a fellow Villa fan out. Just subscribe, comment your thoughts on the game as well. And I'll be back at you with a Nashville preview in the next day or two. Until then, bye for now.